Abniyotri, my fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. It's a cloudy day, not a good day to discuss solar, but uh, here we are. First of all, let me thank Satish for having invited me to share our experiences. The India Habitat Center is a well-known landmark of Delhi. And when I joined there almost a couple of years back, I found that our rooftops were practically unused. And so we started this process of seeing whether we can put a solar plant there or not. Initially, there was a lot of doubt whether this would be financially viable or not. So when Satish was Secretary MNRE, I had gone to him on a Saturday morning and explored the possibility of getting subsidy. And then we made some more inquiries. And as we progressed, we found that actually from both sides, from the availability of subsidy as well as from the need for it, the best course forward would be to structure a bid which did not envisage any subsidy at all. However, since we do have some very good corporate members in the Habitat Center, we were able to raise 50 lakhs from our corporate members, which we gave as an upfront grant, which in a way subsidized the plant and did away with the need to seek government subsidies. So then we started the process in March last year by first bidding out for a consultant, and then after the consultant prepared the project documents, we put out a bid, and we were ourselves surprised at the final result. We had put out a simple bid structure with a single flat tariff valid for 20 years, and the tariff that we got was 1 paise less than 5 rupees. Now that I see the bids in Madhya Pradesh, I asked my vendor as to why did he bid such a high price. Because in retrospect, 5 rupees with a 50 lakhs subsidy seems to be high. If we were to bid it today, I'm sure we would have got an even lower price. So our bid structure was very simple. We would give the rooftops, and the successful bidder would install the plant and sell the electricity to us. We enter into a PPA with the bidder, and we are now getting roughly about 1,000 to 1,500 units a day at 4.99 per unit. Our variable cost from the grid comes to about 10 rupees. So we save 5 rupees for every unit that we generate. The total capacity of the plant is 250 kilowatts. Not a very large sum considering our peak demand is 4 megawatts. But nevertheless, as Satish mentioned, it has a very powerful demonstration effect because people come there and they can get exposed to the fact that this is a successful plant. It's now 5 months into operation, and we hope to save about 20 lakhs this year by putting up this plant without any government support. Since our demand is so heavy, we didn't even have to enter into any net metering approvals and arrangements. This is a 100% captive plant. And the only problem that we have been facing is that we have put screens all over the center so that people can see the results of the plant. Otherwise, you can't see the plant from the ground. So we've been having some technical problems in connectivity and display of the information. There's been some improvement, but it is still not 100% okay. So if you come to the Habitat Center, you may see some incomplete information on the slides. We are working on it, but a large number of people do come and go up to the terrace to see the plant and also to understand the commercials. So we've had a very happy experience so far as the installation of the plant is concerned. The plant was commissioned in March, and from the kind of response that it has generated. Now the lessons that I can see from our own experience is that given the commercial tariffs today, and while it is very true of Delhi, of course, but my rough guess is that it is true of every part of this country, that any commercial building, any commercial entity, any industrial entity, for them, this is a viable proposition even without a single naya paisa of any subsidy. So my first observation is that people should try and put up these plants without waiting for any government subsidy, without waiting for any kind of government approval. Of course, depending on the kind of building that you have and the load, it may be necessary in some cases to go in for net metering. On the suggestion of Satish, we had tried to extend the solar learning to the 2 schools who are on either side of Habitat Center, and there we have not had much success, but our preliminary studies do show that both of them would require net metering to get the full benefit of the solar plant. So my first observation, of course, is that for all commercial entities, it is possible to do this without any government support, without any government subsidy. So arising from this is the puzzle that if that is so, then why is it that we don't see an explosion of rooftop solar, at least for commercial buildings? Because everybody stands to save some amount of money. In some cases, it may not be very large. In the case of the 2 schools, they could save 50 to 75% of their electricity bill. Whereas for a large commercial undertaking with not a big rooftop like us, the saving could be only 5%. But even then, 5% is 5%. So that is a puzzle. And whenever I encounter any commercial entity, that's the question I ask: have you installed a rooftop? Come and have a look at our rooftop, understand our bid process, and explain why you are not doing it. The answer I get invariably is, oh, solar is so expensive. So that is one thing that we all need to collectively do, is to dispel this notion that solar is expensive from the industrial or commercial user's point of view. And the second problem is, okay, it's viable to put it up, but how do I go forward? So what we have done at least is we've put our project documents all on the website. So anyone who wants to tender out, you have a template, you can adjust it, you can tweak it for your own requirement. But that documentation is there. All you need to do is to put out tenders and settle the bid. That's all that needs to be done. But that is still a bit of a puzzle as to why rooftop solar is not exploding on commercial establishments. And we all need to work to ensure that that happens. The other learning that has come about is that whatever is the government subsidy that is going to commercial buildings, I think the policy there should be changed. And we should stop giving subsidy to commercial and industrial buildings because they don't need it. And the recent tariffs in Madhya Pradesh or Andhra and Telangana is more than ample proof of that it is not a one-shot thing, but this seems to be the new uh, level that the solar market has achieved in India. So at these solar tariffs and with the current grid tariffs and the fact that grid tariffs are likely to grow in the future as they have in the past, all the subsidy that's available with the government should go only to the residential sector or for remote areas which definitely do require subsidy even today. And this applies not only to the outright subsidy, but also to hidden subsidies like the accelerated depreciation that is provided. For commercial buildings, there is no need to provide accelerated depreciation because even without that, the projects are viable on their own. In our case, although we did give a subsidy of 50 lakhs, but even if we had not given that, at the prices that were quoted last year in October when we floated the bids for the supply of the plant, even at that time without subsidy, we would have got bids in the range of 650 to 7 rupees, which was lower than our then tariff of about 9 rupee 50 paise. So it's very clear that for commercial and industrial buildings, we do not require any support from the government, except maybe for net metering, wherever it is required. But there's one small doubt that I have, although we have done it without any government support, is what is going to be the mechanism to collect information on the solar rooftop. Although we have informed the Regulatory Commission and our supplier PACS, but I think somewhere there has to be some mechanism, and that only the government can do or the regulator can do, that anybody who puts a rooftop must at least inform the regulator or the company who's supplying power from the grid, so that our numbers are accurately determined in the future. One last point I will make. We have been trying beyond our schools also to talk to some of the other institutions in the neighborhood. And in India International Center, we've encountered the problem that their rooftops are, they are curved on top. They are not flat roofs. And even in the Habitat Center, some of the roofs we have not been able to use because of the way the roofs have been structured. So of course, when Joseph Stein constructed this building or designed it 30 years back, I think solar was a distant speck in the future. But now that we are right in the midst of a great effort to improve or to expand rooftops solar in India, someone needs to take the lead in talking to architects, builders, construction companies, that when you design a new building, ensure that it is designed in such a way that you can maximize the use of solar. So these are the few points that I would like to place before you. And of course, any one of you who wants to come to the Habitat Center, you're more than welcome, and we can show you what we've done, both on the ground and on paper. And if you visit our website, you will get all our project documents, which would be a ready reckoner for anyone who wants to start off afresh. So with these words, I will close, and I would thank Satish and his co-organizers for having called me here and for having organized this session. Thank you.